Okay, so this is basically a 24-hour readathon, which means that you'll be reading as many books as you can in the span of 24 hours. And as you saw from the intro, I have already picked out most of the books I'm going to read. Of course, I'm not going to read all the ones you saw in the intro, but that is as far as I've gotten. And I have a special way of organizing my books where I put every book I want to read in a pile, and I can place them wherever I want in a pile if I want to add a book. But the thing is, I can never actually remove a book from the pile or change where they are, and then I can only add new books, which basically means I, after a while, will be able to read through most of the books. And even though I'm more excited for one book than another there, I'll still manage to read the books that I, wanted to read previously, so I'm not just kind of going for the next book and the next book and the next book without actually reading the ones I already have. So, yeah. So, the first book I'll be reading in this 24-hour readathon is Powerless. I've already read some of it, so it shouldn't take too long. I'm just slightly over halfway. So far, I think it's a really good book, and it's basically about Payton, who she lives in the slums of this kingdom where everyone has powers. They're the elites, and the only thing is that Payton is powerless, so she doesn't have these powers, but she's forced to enter a competition where the elites can show off their powers, and of course this is difficult because, as the title says, Payton is powerless. So, anyways, I'll tell you more when, or I'll give you my review when I finish reading, which shouldn't take too long. Okay, so I just finished reading Powerless, and honestly, I think it is a really, really, really good book. I mean, the ending really shocked me, and I think the story is really interesting, and it kind of captivates you. It makes you want to read more. So I'm thinking I'm giving this book 5 stars, and, I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of the series, which from the intro you saw, I also have in my reading pile. Okay, so this is the next book I'm going to read, and it's called Tenk det. It's in Norwegian, and I got it at my confirmation camp, where basically it's about human rights and stories from people around the world, stories from history. It's really interesting, and it's also been almost exactly an hour as I'm starting this. So I'll update you more as, I read more of the book. Okay, wait. So this is one of the guys from the book that I'll be reading about. I don't really know who that is, but we'll see as I read more. Okay, so I'm about halfway through Tenk det. I mean, it is quite interesting. It has all these stories, all these different people. It gives you more perspective on the world, and kind of, everyone doesn't live the same life as you. Everyone doesn't have the same choices or opportunities as you. As I said earlier, it has a lot about the human rights, religion, and similar stuff. But it's mostly poems and short stories, so it's not like one complete story, it's more like many stories added together. Okay, so now finished reading Tenk det. I mean, it is quite interesting, and I might read it again sometime, but I do not think that this is, well, how can I say, my style of book. It's kind of outside my comfort zone, as I mostly like reading, like, fantasies or stories, or, well, where there is some kind of action or a plot, and this book was definitely not like that, but that doesn't mean it's bad. But I think I'll give this book a 3.5 stars. And as I said, it's not because it's bad or anything like that. It's more that it wasn't the right book for me. But I found it really interesting. And, well, I do think it's going to be quite hard to find this book if you want to read it. Because, as I said, I got it on my, confirmation camp. And I do think that it's only for confirmation camps, not for, like, I don't know, public purchasing? I don't know what to call it. But anyways, so my rating for Tank Buddha is 3.5 stars. The next book I'll be reading is Gone. This is, as you can see, book 3. I'm reading it in Norwegian, but this is book 3, Liars. And it's actually a really funny story because I went to the flea market with my friend and I want to try bookbinding, so I bought the series and it was 50%, so I thought, why not? And then I realized, well, if I'm going to make the cover, then I have to know what the book's about. And so I read the first book, and I thought it was really good, and so I read the second one, and now I'm on to the third. Though I do think this will take me a little bit longer than the other books. Okay, so I know this is kind of an abrupt pause, and I'm pause the timer, of course, but I just found this, which I have wanted to read for some time, and I thought, why not add it to my reading pile? So in my reading pile, I have a rule. I can add books to it whenever I want, but never remove them, and I can never add them to the top. Now, I've not gotten this far, I promise. I just split the pile in two. So if you look over here, there's the rest of it. So Powerful is the next book I'm gonna read, which is a short story in the same one as Powerless. But yes, so I was thinking I want to add this, and I'm thinking I'm going to add it right here in between Phantom Heart and Gone, book 4. Okay, so let's get back to reading. Okay, so I just got to chapter 2, but the candle's soon dead. So I got this other one, and I'm going to prepare it. So what I do is I melt the bottom, so that now it will stick, but of course not now, because what we want to do is we want to light it first. And stick it in there. So right now there's going to be 2 candles, but I'm just going to blow out the smaller one. Okay, so I went to bed and, well, this is next morning. Another hour has passed. And I'm about quarter way through the book. So I assume in like 2 or 3 hours maybe, I'll see you again and I'll start reading Powerful. Okay, see you then. Okay, so I'm now exactly halfway through the book, and I found it really interesting, and it's page 223. And, well, the candle, it burnt out, so I'm going to replace that. But it's also, I like how all the characters around, like, the middle of the book, so right now, kind of, all of them, all the stories are joined together to make, like, one cohesive one, and I really like that. But if you were planning on reading this book, I would recommend that you read the trigger warnings, because there is some slight cannibalism. Yeah, but that's not the main plot of the book, I promise. But anyways, so I'm thinking I'm gonna choose this one, this small blue one, to, like, well, take up all the extra wax. So, okay, so it's just been 24 hours in real time, but I've only read for 8 hours, so I'm thinking I'm gonna, well, read more tomorrow and have less small breaks and doing other stuff. And as you can see, I've reached chapter 33, and after this I'm gonna read Powerful. But I just wanted to tell you, the last 100 pages, it's like impossible to put down. Okay, so I just finished reading Gone Liars, and as you can see, it now has a new cover because, as I said, I wanted to try bookbinding on it. But that's probably why I had so many breaks, because I just wanted to, well, play a little bit with it, and then I realized, oh, but now I can't read it because now I have to wait for it to dry. But anyways, it was a really good book, and I'm definitely giving it 5 stars, and well, I can't wait to read the next one in the series, but that's quite far down in my reading list, so that probably won't happen in this 24-hour readaton, but maybe later. Oh, yeah, and I almost forgot to tell you, the premise of the book is all these kids are trapped in this, like, huge bubble, and they can't leave, and some of them are developing, like, what can I say, mutant powers. And yeah, so anyways, next book I'm gonna read is Powerful. Here it is. Okay, it's already been 10 hours, but I'll start reading Powerful now, and I'm really looking forward to it, because this is basically the story of Payden, her best friend's story, and what happens with her. And, I mean, it's really interesting, but it's like a short novella, so it probably won't take that long time to read. Okay, so I just finished reading Powerful, and the ending was so sad. I mean, no, I kind of, well, as this was going on simultaneously as Powerless, I kind of already knew what was going to happen, but still, it made me so sad. And it's honestly a super good book, so I'm definitely giving this book a 5-star. But now, on to the next book, which is The Inheritance Game. I don't know much about it, but, well, it looks really interesting, so I'll talk to you more when I finish reading this book. Okay, so just finished reading Inheritance Games. I like the plots, I like the mystery, and I think that was really fun, and like, you're constantly like questioning what's gonna happen next, how are they gonna solve this, and so on and so forth. But one thing I did not like is the love triangles, because, okay, this is a personal opinion, but I absolutely hate love triangles in books. But I'm still giving this 4 stars because it was not that big of a part of the plot, and as I said, I like the story, but I really don't like the love triangle. Anyways, on to the next book. So I finished reading Reckless, and well, it's a little bit over 24 hours that have passed now, but I just had to know the ending because it was really exciting. And honestly, like, the last 3 sentences, it shocked me. I mean, it was, okay, the whole book was really interesting, and it was this, like, whole, like, the story just kept going and expanding on the world and everything, but then just the last couple of sentences, like, that shocked me. And also the epilogue, I do not count that. It was just kind of sad, but this is definitely a 5-star, and I can't wait for the 3rd book to come out in April.